Well, here we are again, day 2 of MPTS 2026 from the podcast hub here at the show, as you can hear, no doubt tell from the background. And we'll be getting into a bit of that, actually. It's quite an apposite thing because we're talking about podcasting and the sound of podcasting with my guest today, Jai Williams, who knows, who's forgotten more than most will ever know about the sound of podcasting. It's nice to have you, have the tables turned on you, to have you around this side of the microphone.
This is the first time I've ever agreed to
see how you like it.
What have I done?
And I've just come from watching you on the audio theatre there, doing a talk about exactly that. A talk entitled 5 Reasons Your Podcast Sounds Shit.
Can you say that live?
I think I just did. I mean, we're live, right? So there's probably a profanity delay. We'll see. I have to call this the following podcast contains adult language.
Yes.
And just stick that on the beginning, it'll be fine.
That's right.
So we'll get into that a bit, because there's loads of themes that came out of that talk that are relevant to anybody who's doing this.
Yeah.
And are relevant to us right here, right now, actually.
Yeah.
Ironically, we're here talking about how to make podcasts sound great in a podcast that cannot sound great.
Well, we've got an open doorway.
We have
Lovely
there's only 3 cameras. If there were a 4th camera over my shoulder, you'd see the vast greenhouse that is Olympia.
Yeah, echo.
Replete with thousands and thousands of people, all of whom kind of doing that shouty thing at each other, as is customary for a trade show. And we'll get into mics, we'll get into environments, but there's no mic, there's no environment in the world that's perfect.
Right. No.
And there are some that you just can't do anything about.
No.
This is one of them. But life isn't perfect, and we are bringing a podcast streaming live from a trade show in Olympia, and it sounds like it. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to. Mm-hmm. We're not pretending we're not.
Exactly.
So I wrote down a couple of things in the session.
So no.
One of them was, and sorry, the audience were people that are already or are thinking of starting a podcast, and it was you and Alison Vernon-Smith, who's a radio producer by trade, giving people some advice that isn't going to cost the earth, but will elevate the product to something like this. There's no reason why, for a limited budget or a minimal budget, there's no reason why you can't sound as good as the most expensive podcast in the world.
Within reason, I think that's true. Yeah, absolutely.
If you just think about some of the basics. And the quote that I pulled out that you said is, it doesn't have to be big budget, but it does have to be well executed.
Absolutely.
And obviously you're an exponent of coming to a proper recording studio and doing it, because then you take all the guesswork out. Yeah. It's going to be great, no matter what. But if you can't do that...
Actually, it might not be. I've had some guests that have been...
Right, but that's not your fault, or the fault of your studio. But it takes away all that unknown. It takes away that guesswork.
You can pretty much guarantee that the sound's going to be a certain quality.
It's a controlled... What a studio is a controlled environment.
Absolutely. I call it the Radio 4 quality.
Right.
Standard.
Yeah, that's the benchmark.
We're used to... That is the benchmark. Yeah, without question of a doubt, Radio 4 quality is the benchmark. Now, if you come to a studio, that's what you should expect to get. Yeah. But like I said, you don't need to invest in you don't need to invest heavily into a lot of equipment. You don't need the most expensive equipment, but you just need to know how to use it. As I said in the show, you can give a bad guitar to Slash and he'll still make it sound good. Yeah. Because he just knows it's a tool. And it's the same with microphones, within reason. As long as you can have the budget mics, put them in a decent environment, place them well. Yeah. And you can get a relatively good sound.
Well, to kind of extend that analogy, don't give a bass guitar to Slash.
Well,
it looks kind of similar, but it's a different thing.
I think,
And I think that starts us with microphones, right?
I think so.
We've seen, we are today using the fabulous microphones from Rode, who along with ProAV and AKA Design and Canon have equipped this fabulous studio here at the show.
Yeah.
So I don't think we can just talk about Rode microphones.
No.
But Rode microphones are great. Great.
Yeah, they use them regularly.
And you'll have seen these, and you'll have seen the Shure
SM7Bs
as ubiquitous podcast mics.
I actually use
So I guess a good question to ask first off is, why is that, right? For those who don't understand their condensers from their cardioids,
right? Yeah.
Why is that?
I think
it's not just everyone said, let's use those this year.
actually you'd be shocked in my studio.
I mean, some of them are, right?
Because I tend to use match pair 414s, a group of them, AKG 414s,
Right.
studio quality mics.
You know what you're doing now.
Yeah,
So that's different.
You know, and a client came in and said, no, can I have those tubular ones so we can put? They actually brought stickers,
Right, to put on the pop shields.
on the bottom. On the bottom, so the camera
right.
could see the bottom of their
Oh,
logo.
of course, yeah.
I'm like, well, I've just offered you champagne, but you want now prosecco.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's.
But we sold that to somebody.
Yeah, well, the thing is I'm not degrading the mics.
Yeah.
They're brilliant mics, and the wonderful thing about them is their proximity. Now,
Yeah.
all of these sort of mics are they're dynamic mics. Proximity.
Yeah.
Condenser mics, you're going to get a bigger. So if I have any more than the 3 people sitting around a table, I'll go for SM7Bs.
Yeah.
If I've
'Cause
got
they're going to record what's here
just
and reject what's
Yeah.
here or in Olympia or
'cause
SD.
if we were sitting here now with AKG 414s, you're just going to hear.
All you'd hear is Olympia.
Yeah. You'll hear us.
And I think that's the thing for those like on the I don't want to get too in the weeds
No.
of like dynamic and cardioid patterns and condenser mics, but ultimately what this microphone and what the SM7B offers and why they are so popular, why they are the mic to get for podcasts,
Yeah.
is they take away the requirement to be in a studio
Yes.
to some extent.
To some extent,
Now,
yeah.
everything we say today is going to have that asterisk at the end to some extent, because we're talking now on microphones that are picking up this.
Just low.
But you can all still hear Olympia.
A little bit,
because
yeah.
nothing is perfect. Nothing is 100%.
Correct.
Now, if you're in a voiceover booth and you want to get every single nuance of the perfection of someone's voice for a voiceover, then you're going to use a really, really sensitive cardioid condenser.
Neumann.
Sorry, a condenser, large diaphragm
My go-to
Neumann
is the
microphone.
U87, Neumann U87.
Because that's going to pick up everything. By everything, I mean everything in the room.
Yeah,
But if the room is a soundproof room,
Yeah.
that's fine.
yeah.
So that's the difference, right?
More expensive the microphone, the more expensive the room.
Yeah.
There's no way of getting around it.
It's going to hear everything.
Oh, you
which
stick
you
a
want.
Neumann U87 in a bad room, and you're going to
Yeah.
know it's in a bad. And all of a sudden, you spent all this money because you can afford it, and it
Yeah.
sounds awful.
So that's why these microphones have become ubiquitous in
Yeah, these
podcasting,
bit-
because they are forgiving of the environment, and they're consistent,
Yes,
and people
Yeah.
know what they are.
and they look a certain way.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
become-
these particular mics and the SM7s.
Yeah.
There are other microphones on the market.
Yeah.
but they are popular, well known.
But in terms of the type of microphone we're using a Rode dynamic
Yeah.
microphone for
Yeah.
podcasting, which is the correct choice.
yeah.
No.
I think so. I can't hear it, but yes.
And that's kind of, I guess, what we just talked about on the stage wasn't really getting too into the weeds of the technicality of kit.
Yeah.
But these things are important. If you get that bit wrong first,
Yeah.
then you're always going to be fighting a losing battle in
I
terms
agree.
of making your podcast sound good.
Yeah.
And you'll end up spending more and more and more on
Yeah.
different mics and acoustic treatment and throwing money at a problem that you're never going to fix because you got the
100%.
first thing wrong.
Yeah.
So kit choices. Microphone is number one. The
Yeah.
second is choose. Oh, we'll get onto cameras in a second because neither you nor I really want to talk about cameras for much.
I've got some.
On a Canon sponsored podcast. Let's leave that to the pros.
Yeah.
But environment's important too, right? So if you can't come to a studio
Yeah.
and don't have the luxury of that guarantee,
Yeah.
or the format of the podcast is such that it can't be in a studio because it's all being done
Yeah.
on a tour bus,
Yeah.
or it's being done in people's houses to
Yeah.
talk about everyday issues or whatever.
Yeah.
Or you have guests all around the world that you can't fly them in to sit them in a studio.
Yeah.
So it's not about budget or desire to be in a studio.
No.
Sometimes the format just won't support it. So if it doesn't, environment becomes important.
Massively, yeah. I mean, the thing is, if you can't go to a studio, and a lot of people don't have that kind of budget, nothing wrong with that, and they want to use their home getup, they can buy a decent setup. Rode is one of them, among others. And I'm talking audio here, not worried about the cameras as yet now. As long as you can create an environment which is predominantly, you haven't got too much external pollution, dogs, cars, or people, if you want to interview someone in a hospital, let's say, for an argument's sake, you don't really want to be interviewing them in a massive room with bleeping this and God knows what else. You want to try and take them to somewhere that's going to be, and also there's not, if you're in an environment where it's echoey, as in roomy, you can't edit it because every time you make a slice, you've got a tail over from and I've had to, people have brought me, and then I've had to try and de-reverb using software.
It's the same, I guess the video equivalent of that is a single camera.
Yeah.
Right? If you've just got one camera, every cut's a jump cut. Right? And if you've got a roomy environment, every cut's a jump cut. Because you're just going to cut off the tail of the ambience of the room.
And the tail still goes over onto the next bit of the next. Yeah. You can hear the ending.
So it's kind of, it's almost not, it's just getting rid of the room.
If you're in
you don't want to hear the room.
If you're not in a perfect environment, it causes you problems. And those little that creates issues for the quality of your production. You're trying to get an audience. Now, if the little things, people seem to notice the nuances of audio more than they notice picture, I think.
Yeah.
If you're listening in a pair of headphones, or if the audio's not quite right, it's a bit jarring, I think people notice that more.
Yeah, I think if I watched something that was a bit blurred, I'd watch it. If I was listening to something that was distorted, I wouldn't watch it.
No,
I guess.
Well, they've done that. They've done those tests, haven't they? They snowed the picture out, and waited to see how long people left the auditorium.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Because we're used to radio, podcasts now.
Well, I think that's another thing we should get into, really, because you've been doing this a while, and one of the things that's changed dramatically in the last couple of years, witness the fact that we're doing it right now, is these fellas.
Yeah.
These eyes on us, and the fact that we are a video podcast, from a medium that started out as democratized radio or kind of, and then the cameras turned up, and you did the same thing in your own studio.
Yeah. By popular demand, requests were coming in. Do you have cameras? Do you have cameras? And I thought about it. I'm predominantly audio, and I went out and invested in three cameras and a switcher.
Yeah.
And it's proved to be pretty good. The studio is now, there used to be Voice and Sound Studio, now it's Voice and Sound and Media, because we are having to go down the camera route by popular demand.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense, right? The audience you can get when you can be on YouTube as we are now.
Yeah.
Or when you can, I guess you said in the talk that a lot of what you shoot when you're doing podcasts, you do a lot of stuff at Wondery, for example.
Yeah, that's right, we do, yeah.
A lot of that, of course, the audience that comes to that, Audible now, yes. The audience that comes to that because it's clipped all over TikTok.
Yeah, it is.
Which you can't do with just audio clips. It doesn't have the same impact.
No, because you end up with you get sound bites, but it's not going to attract. You can. Well, they do put them on Spotify, obviously. But I noticed now. I was watching a podcast just the other day on Spotify, and it's video. The whole thing is video.
Yeah.
And so, what? That's how it's going.
Well, the lines, as you say, are being blurred. We talked a bit about elevating your podcast to, in inverted commas, broadcast quality, the Radio 4 benchmark,
shall we say? Yes,
and that's right, and how everyone in the podcast world is referring to their formats as shows rather than pods or biz pods or podcasts.
Yeah,
it's shows now.
Shows.
So, but then those lines are being blurred in both directions. We were talking about, I think it was Traitors Uncloaked, the big switchover show after Traitors on BBC One, which in fairness it started life as it is a BBC Sounds podcast format.
Yeah.
So it is a podcast first and foremost that's now on primetime TV to a switchover audience of millions.
Yeah.
But it's so podcasting. It's everyone sitting on couches.
I've seen the set.
SM7s up in their face on mic stands.
Yeah.
And the BBC traditionally would not countenance that at all.
No.
You are not seeing a microphone on a BBC.
Or headphones.
No, well, they don't. They're not on cats. Do they? I don't think they're. No, they're not on cats.
It used to be, not on this particular show, but there is after the news. I saw them wearing cans with the little BBC logo on the shelf behind them.
Yeah.
The little podcast stand. It's like, wow.
So you get TV shows you get broadcast television shows that are aching to look like podcasts.
Yeah.
Or to make sure everyone knows that they're also on Sounds.
Is that to get a certain age demographic?
I couldn't tell you why. I think it's fascinating that you got TV shows who can't work hard enough to look like podcasts. And you're saying the same thing works the other way.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it is absolutely becoming blurred. You know, I've had people come into my studio to do a podcast with cameras. You know, we've got lav mics
because there's a camera on it.
Yeah,
and so I don't want to have a microphone in my face. No. We're on camera.
I had a particular person.
I want to look like the BBC.
She didn't want to have any. She don't want to mess my hair up. Don't want headphones on, which is fair enough. I understand that.
Stick a lapel mic on me, so we look like.
They wanted to look like they wanted to be on, as if it was on the news.
That's brilliant.
It's like, well, this is broadcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what's the difference?
That's it. So the blurring of lines isn't like. It's not just unilateral. It's not just podcasts being a lot more like telly.
No.
It's telly being a lot more like podcasts.
Yeah.
And the two things being kind of indistinguishable.
Yeah.
The medium by which they find their way to your eyes and ears.
Yeah.
Okay, that's different. That's the YouTube or Audible or BBC One or Sky.
Apart from the difference,
the product is the same.
The only thing I think, which is when they make a podcast, as in the broadcasters, what constraints do they have by editors and people up above? Whereas we make a podcast, we can pretty much do and say within reason what we want, and there's no one to edit. There's no commissioner.
Yeah,
you are free to do what you.
No, other than the kind of the bigger corporate things, where there's a series that gets made
by their HR.
Yeah, but for the most part, the beauty of it, of course, is it's a democratized medium. Anybody can make a podcast, and that's kind of where we started this morning. Is talking about yes, you can, but here for free are a few things you can do that will elevate that to something that sounds. Because before it and after it, your audience will listen to something else.
Yeah.
So be as good or better than those.
So the equipment is obviously
for nothing.
Absolutely.
Almost.
I think the equipment and the environment are the two fundamental things.
Yeah.
The third is if you're doing scripted, make sure it's edited well.
Yeah.
Make sure that the edit is well written, that your subject matter is interesting.
Yeah.
Your guests are prepared, so they know why they're there. They know what you're going to talk about, and they're not going to pull it. Well, because it's recorded, it's not like this going out live. They're not going to pull a rabbit out of the hat that you're not going to expect. So, and then there's the post editing, which you and I are involved in.
Yeah, I think it gets overlooked, and it's something that's been always part of your job.
Yeah.
And I've noticed, for example, with some of the common tools you mentioned, Descript, and there's things like Riverside.
Yeah.
What they really handily do is they do a transcription.
Yeah.
So you can see what was said.
Yeah.
And almost certainly the first thing they ask you is, do you want me to get rid of these filler words? I found 48 ums and 28 ers.
Yeah.
You go, get rid of that. But it doesn't seem to care that what it creates is an appalling cut. It's got rid of the and the
Yeah.
So that's great, but it's created 117
cuts.
Really bad edits.
There's no shortcuts.
No.
I mean, there are tools, but there are no shortcuts. And I know that they want you to say, these are great shortcuts. Yeah. Once you've done Descript, it's an amazing tool. It's incredible. Pro Tools is now starting to do it as well.
Yeah.
And you can take out all the ums and all the ahs.
But just because you can, doesn't mean you should.
Well,
right?
Or if you do, you still then got to put it back into your computer, digital audio workstation, and then go through all those cuts and crossfade them or stretch or put room tone underneath, if anyone knows.
Yeah.
So it can work, but you still got to do the manual work to make it sound good. Because if you try and take shortcuts, it won't work.
But for the beginner, for someone starting out, are ums and ahs, which is the bigger of the two evils? People say and and someone talking for 30 minutes and never saying or is a bit weird.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you have.
Yes.
That's how humans talk.
Yeah.
For someone starting out, making that choice, I would suggest leaving the ums and ahs in is the lesser crime than getting Descript or Riverside to take them all out.
Oh, totally. So
don't worry too much about that.
Or just do a bit of editing.
Yeah. Take out the most offensive ones.
Yeah, the ones that really, or you get people that sit there and go, get rid of that.
Someone loses their train of thought and
post-editing.
Get rid of that one.
Yeah.
But not every single imperfection. Imperfection is humanity, is what sets us apart from AI bots.
I'm perfect, but yeah.
Well, present company accepted.
No.
And I think we're being shuffled off our live slot. That is the beauty of the live YouTube channel from ProAV here is that someone else is probably waiting now to come on
They
and,
certainly are, yeah. And we're going to
have
go.
their say on the issues that dominate the industry today.
I'm going to
Guys,
some more samples.
thank you so much for joining us, both for the talk this morning and for this. I hope people found it useful that are looking at getting into or elevating their podcast to sound just as good as something with an enormous budget.
Yeah.
If you do have an enormous budget, your website is...
www.voicessoundstudio.co.uk.
Check it out. Come and have a look.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll switch off and leave it to the next people on the channel.
Thank you.